Hey everyone. So I wanted to do a video of something I have to do to my Fiat 500e. It's an electric that I thought is a little bit odd. So I've got a system in here, 312s, and I basically have dynamated the entire car, at least the doors, the rear quarter panels, and so on, and it's helped tremendously. But I did not dynamite the roof. My mistake. Well, what happened was, first the mirror shook so hard when it came off, it chipped a piece of the glass. So it actually removed glass with the mirror. And after that, the windshield decided to crack on me. So what I want to do is make sure when I fix this, it doesn't happen again. So first thing I want to do is to dynamite the roof considerably. The little pieces that they have from the factory are incredibly stiff, so I don't know how much they help. Second, this bar of steel right over here, this stamped, very thin bar of steel, is not connected to the roof. So this actually presents, I think, the biggest problem in my opinion. When the reverberations of the sound kind of travel through the roof, when they pass down into the windshield, they kind of come back into this bar because it's not connected to the roof. And because it has some weight, as it starts shaking, it gets more and more violent until it starts kind of looping back into the windshield and the roof, and it has this back and forth effect of the reverberations of the metal, the glass, and this strut bar over here kind of all oscillating at different frequencies and kind of magnifying each other's oscillation and causing all kinds of issues in the windshield. So what I'm hoping to do is just to use some automotive epoxy to fill this gap in. So this stamped piece of metal is, I'd say, about an inch wide from the back, can't really see, to the front. It's about an inch. I'm hoping that by cleaning this out and then filling it with epoxy, 1 inch worth of epoxy that basically, dries like steel, that's going to connect this piece to the roof and make them one unit, so it can absorb the reverberations and pass them through not just the roof but through this metal bar as a whole, to minimize the amount of reverberations getting eventually passed onto the glass. I thought about also welding a piece of flat steel over here, but I'm gonna save that for last in case I need it. But I'm hoping that the dynamat in conjunction with the epoxy, once it all cures and everything is back in there, that will suffice. So I just wanted to make this video because I thought this right here is a design flaw. I'm sure there could be a good reason for it. I'm just thinking that the amount of extra effort and the production line probably wasn't worth the cost, or they did not account for significant vibrations in the car. Whatever the reason, if you decide to have a proper system in your Fiat 500, hopefully this video kind of gives you a bit of information on what you have to do to make sure you don't blow your windshield up or your mirror, or damage other things that eventually get damaged because of reverberations. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to fix this issue. So in my car at least, I have this weird strip of like rubber. See, I can just like push it and it'll come away. I'm assuming for the models with the sunroof, that's where the sunroof would go into, and that's how they would seal it up. That's just an assumption, I don't know. But basically, before we can do anything, I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver and kind of clean that out and make sure to scrape the metal a bit. You should also use some sandpaper, maybe a scraper, get it all roughed up. And then I'm going to use this JB Weld steel stick, also known as epoxy putty or epoxy stick. I got this from Home Depot. You could probably get it from any Lowe's, Home Depot, auto shop. Pretty normal stuff. I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna knead it, and then I'm gonna stick it in between the space here, end to end. Make sure I get a nice thick 1-inch really layer in there all the way in, and that's going to basically harden like steel and weld the top metal to the bottom plate. And I'm gonna attempt to do the same thing here. I noticed that this is not welded either. They just have these little pads here, but you can push on the roof and really it vibrates, reverberates, and really isn't connected to this. So I'm gonna do that, and possibly back here as well, just to stiffen up the entire roof to absorb the vibrations. It seems like the roof of the car and the unibody chassis just isn't connected at all. So hopefully I can show you how that looks. Okay, I've got that bead of rubber all removed, and I've scuffed up the surface pretty well. That way the putty has something to adhere to. Because I'm a fancy pants, I'm going to put on some disposable gloves. They actually recommend this, impermeable gloves on the back. You say cut the amount, mix it thoroughly, really knead it with your hands, and then apply firm pressure when you put it on the surface. So I recommend some gloves, make cleanup easier. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So here's what the putty looks like as you're kneading it. You'll see it's pretty pliable. I think you've got about 6 minutes until it hardens. So you've got, go ahead and basically knead it for a minute or two until it's a consistent color. And then just go ahead and stick it in there. Right, so that's what one tube looks like. So you'll see you'll probably need, I don't know, 8 tubes or so. I'll let you guys know once I'm done. What I do is, as I put it in there, I make sure I push it all the way to the back. Again, this thing has about 1 inch worth of width, so make sure you push it in there, and you basically get it nice and firm, and it pushes on both the top and the bottom piece of metal. And that's, when that dries, it's going to be basically as tough as metal. So just keep doing the same thing until you cover the entire area. So this is what 4 of those packages looks like, and still have some left to do. So I'd say you need at least 6 to do just the front part over here, from the front all the way to the back. That way you get enough in there. I'm gonna add a little bit more to the front. It goes to the middle, but yeah, I think I should add a little bit more. Basically, this hardens like steel, so once it cures, it's going to be a nice steel hard weld. Again, I'm going to do that over here as well, do it at the back as well, so that way once the dynamat's on there, we should have a completely different sounding roof. Wow, that's already better. It's no longer sounding that hollow like it used to. Alright. There you go. You could see most of it is in between that channel, but I want to add some here, maybe add it all the way to this lip over here, just so we have more surface on the roof that we're attaching to, so the roof doesn't bow when I crank up the sound. Okay, I finally finished taking care of the roof. So what you'll see is that I have a nice thick bead now on the front side, That way it has as much adhesion to the roof as possible. And I did a few layers of hush mat. So I did a few going this way, 1, 2, and because I did it the long way, they kind of overlapped. And then I did another 1, 2. So I have a total of 6 hush mat pieces on here, for a total of 2 layers on the sides and 3 layers in the middle. You can hear how well insulated that is. And the center brace, I did the same thing. I used a JB weld. I used a total of 12 little cans of the JB weld putty for the entire thing. I did the brace in the back. I also did that brace. You can't see it because the hush mat's on there. Back here I only did 1 layer hush mat, 2 pieces, but that seems to suffice. This was the main area. Most of the reverberations occurred here, and the whole point of this was to minimize reverberations in the front, to stop the windshield from cracking and the mirror from breaking the windshield. So I'm going to let this cure for about a day or two before I decide to really test it. I'll put the headliner back in, and then I'll do a comparison video to see just how much this has helped. But from what I could hear already, everything sounds a lot better than before. The echoes are minimized, and I don't feel the same type of resonance that I did before. It doesn't seem to transfer the reverberations as much. Right, so just a few thoughts, because I know the before and after video wasn't very fair. In the first video I had about 2000 watts on 3 gel audio 12W7s. The new video I had EMF audio 12s running on close to 8000 watts, so way more power. What I could tell you guys though is the car, this basically helped tremendously. It is much quieter. The car stays a lot cooler because the heat does not get transferred from the roof where the sun beats. So absolutely a positive. As you can see, I have a brand new windshield, and the windshield hasn't cracked and my mirror hasn't fallen off. So I can confirm without a doubt that that fix made a huge impact to the amount of vibrations hitting the windshield. I still have a mirror after about 2 months of use now. So my recommendation is do the dynamat even if you won't get a sound system. It just helps with basically the heat and the overall sound of the cabin. It absorbs a lot of the sound. If you're going to have a sound system with vibrations, go ahead and do the beads and weld that roof like I did, because it's going to basically prevent your either mirror from falling off or your windshield getting cracked like mine did. So hopefully this video was informative and gave you an idea of the amount of work you'll have to put in if you decide to take this route to make your cabin a little bit nicer in terms of heat, sound, all that fun stuff. Cool, check out my other videos. I have a few more videos of the car. You guys can find out what the heck this thing is, all the little pods I've made. My next project is a wall. So I'm modifying everything, gonna wall the car off. So if you ever want a Fiat 500, check out my videos. I'll be posting my build log here. Take care.